Good, everybody? I'm Brandon. You already see the title, my guy. Ups and Downs, WWE Extreme Rules 2020. Listen, this video is 22 minutes long. So with that being said, you already know I'm not going to stop it. If I have anything to say, I will speak over the homie Simon. Shout out to my guy Simon. Y'all know I fuck with him heavy. He is a huge WWE nerd, but I still fuck with him heavy because he is hilarious. He has a great personality, man. I'm ready to hop on into it. I haven't been doing the top 10s because people low-key been telling me, like, Brandon, the top 10s are trash. You don't need to do them no more. If y'all want me to continue to do the top 10s, let me know in the comments, bro. But I get comments all the time like, hey, stop doing these top 10s. They're trash. We don't even care no more. Woo, woo, woo. And, I mean, we all miss the crowd. I'm going to keep it a stack. I miss the crowd, too. So if y'all still want the top 10s from WWE, SmackDown, and NXT, let me know in the comments. If you do, I'll still do them. But like I said, a lot of people have been saying no. So I need y'all to let me know ASAP. But yeah, man, let's hop into it. Let's see what happened on Extreme Rules. Shout out to my guy, Simon. Let's go.
Right, that's it. What even is wrestling in 2020 anymore? I can't keep up. Extreme Rules, the latest pay-per-view from WWE.
Was it fire?
Is in the book that never exists. I mean, have you ever seen that book? No, you have not. And it was so strange. Damn entertaining for some right reasons and some wrong reasons, but so odd. And the whole time I kept thinking, imagine you've never watched professional wrestling before and you decided to watch this, you wouldn't know what the hell was going on.
Okay, I gotta hear this.
What culture,
I gotta hear this. Sound like it's about to be insane.
We're taking the finger of power, and we're about to give the good bits and up, and the bad bits are down. But WWE Extreme Rules 2020. Now, it was only 2.5 hours.
I just need to know your workout plan. Every time I see you, you are buff as fuck. Why is, you see how thick the homie neck is? Look at my neck. I ain't got a thick neck. I got nice shoulders. But this dude's neck is like meaty as fuck. This dude Simon buff. How much you bench? How much you deadlift? Let's see them legs. How much you squat, bro? Okay. Let's listen.
Was on the pre-show. Why? I have absolutely no clue. But about 1 hour before Extreme Rules started, WWE on social media went, we're going to do Kevin Owens versus Don't Call Him Buddy Murphy. And that just instantly tells you, you as a fan, don't need to care about this match because there's no announcement until 60 or so minutes before. You got to stop doing it. Down. It was really good though, and probably one of the best kickoff matches we've seen in ages.
So give it up.
It ended when Owens gave the former buddy a stunner following a super kick. I suppose we're doing all of this because Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens looked to reignite their feud, hence why they had a match on Monday, and now he's beating up Seth Rollins' best friend. My only real question is that I don't know what we're actually doing with Murphy. I mean, what a strange year he's had. He was losing, and then he joined a cult, and ever since joining that cult, well, it hasn't really helped him at all, has it?
It hasn't.
Very good wrestler. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah, he's like Seth Rollins' sidekick.
Extreme Rules was then going proper, and it was the New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro in their tables match.
Okay.
And these four, I tell you, these four, they are great. As it was a tables match, everybody was allowed in the ring, and there was basically no rules. So some of the stuff they decided to do. Like at one point, Cesaro's face was leaning against the steel stairs, so Kofi Kingston just ran at him and drop-kicked his skull into that, and there's no way that couldn't have hurt. Big E did that crazy spear thing through the ropes again to the Swiss Superman, so I suppose he was being punished for
that's
winning
Big
a
E's
match
move.
on SmackDown, and then Kofi went to the top and did that down trustful. This was just go, go, go.
That's
Cesaro
fire,
also
nigga.
went to press slam Kofi at one point, and he walked along the apron with him in the air. Now, Kingston was able to get out of that, but what a feat of strength by this inhuman beast man.
You know
this was
Cesaro
just really
is
well put together, and you knew
fuck.
something bad was coming when the New Day stacked two tables atop of each other, and unfortunately, I was correct in my assumption, because after Big E had been taken out, Cesaro went to the top rope, Shinsuke Nakamura passed him Kofi Kingston like he was some kind of kitchen utensil, and he powerbombed him from the top rope through two tables, and also these tables were outside the ring. Why does nobody care about Kofi Kingston's back? This also meant that, we have brand new tag team champions, and it is Shinsuke and Cesaro.
I'm not mad at it. I like them both. They both beastie.
On a roll, and that blows my mind.
They're beastie.
I retired the Swiss Stock Super Meter on Friday, but hey, that's just the way these things go. And there was good fallout to this too, because the new champions went up to Michael Cole and Corey Graves like, see, you've always been berating us, but now who are the kings? We are. They put on a crown. Didn't. It's just such a great side of Cesaro, which actually made me all for this title.
Yeah, I like Cesaro.
And there was also this really funny bit. I think Cesaro and Nakamura have like a tag team sign where they put their fists out. It's a bit like the bar. But Nakamura at first was doing his weird finger stuff, and then he looked at Cesaro and went, oh, and he gave a fist instead. I really laughed. But yeah, seriously, top stuff.
I mean,
then thankfully my worst fears weren't realised, because I was terrified, that's right, terrified, this is the kind of life that I lead, that because Nikki Cross kept losing on SmackDown to Bayley, that here at Extreme Rules, she was about to become the SmackDown Women's Champion.
I pray to God she didn't.
Because Bayley needs to hold onto that belt until, she falls out with Sasha Banks. Yeah. Thankfully, it just turns out we're going to allow Nikki Cross to lose as if she's Mojo Rawley. This was a great story. Also quite a funny skit beforehand when Kairi Sane, Asuka and Alexa Bliss were trying to ramp up Nikki Cross's confidence because of course she lost it on Friday night. They were like, you got it, you can do it. And she was like, yeah, I have. Then Kairi Sane just came out with the line, and look, even if you lose, we'll still be your friend. And that's brilliant for two reasons, because one, it's just a silly joke, but two, it means at some point during the week, Kairi went, do I still want to be Nikki's friend if she does suffer defeat? Yes, I do. Kairi, we're going to miss you. This was actually really decent too. Nikki Cross had everything in the early going because you were meant to think she had all this power because of her backstage prep talk. And of course, when Bayley got in charge, she just slowed things down. Although we are teasing that Cross is going to go crazy again because at one point she shuffled under the ring and popped up on the other side.
Nikki Cross used to be crazy? That was part of her whole gimmick before? I don't know. She
mocked the old Bayley at one point when she did that wibbly wobbly dance that she used to do. I'm actually quite pleased that the commentators reminded me of that. I just thought she was about to fall over. I'm going to guess also that the Bayley to belly is now more of a signature move for the champion rather than her finisher because she nailed Nikki Cross with it and Nikki Cross kicked out like it was nothing. And even the commentators were like, yeah, whatever, we don't care. And poor Nikki, she forgot about Sasha Banks, that damn Sasha Banks who of course was on the outside.
We love Crip
Because as the referee was distracted by everything going on in life, maybe he has some relationship problems, I don't know. Sasha was able to pass those boss brass knucks she had to her best friend. She punched Nikki Cross right in the face. She got the 1, 2, 3.
I can't wait till Sasha and Bayley fall out and then Sasha beat her and takes the championship.
I think on one side, maybe it would have been better just to have Nikki Cross lose again clean so she can go all crazy once more. But maybe that's not the story. I don't know. I don't work for the WWE and their creative team anymore after they booted me out when I suggested that Repo Man should win all the titles. They thought that was a terrible idea. Well, flub you. For the record too, no, I never had that job. Every time I make that job, at least one person gets in touch when you work for WWE.
I just sit there.
Creative? No, of course I didn't. Also, if I was suggesting Repo Man winning the titles, I'd have been like 3, and I don't think WWE is hiring 3-year-olds. I mean, maybe they do, but it's illegal. Anyways, Bayley does remain your SmackDown champion, and we're still not done with her. We'll come back to her later. WWE then insulted their own stories.
What the fuck you been, my guy?
You can't do something.
I haven't seen The Fiend in so long.
It bombed, and tried to make amends by going, oh yeah, we know we screwed up, and especially don't do this with Bray Wyatt. He should be untouchable, Dowd. Because we basically had a Firefly Funhouse here, and Bray promised that whatever was going to go down later in the Swamp match was going to be the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. And then we cut to some footage, and yes, they re-aired some of the karaoke nonsense from SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, and then we came back to Bray Wyatt. Rambling Rabbit was there. He said, that's not what I meant. Never do that again. I wouldn't have wanted Stone Cold Steve Austin to have come out and gone, hey, did you see my young just give birth to a hand? That was absolute crap. Give me a hell yeah, and I don't want Bray Wyatt to be referring to this. In fact, when you know you have flubbed up, what you should do is just bury it and bury it deep in a hole. I don't really get what's going on with Apollo Crews either, but as we were told, he has not been cleared to wrestle. Now, WWE has come up with a story arc that I'll tell you in just 1 second, but let's be honest, when all that testing was going down, I'm going to assume that Apollo popped up positive and he had to be taken off TV. Almost like we should have been doing the testing beforehand. However, according to the announcers, it's because 1 month ago, when Bobby Lashley locked in the full Nelson, this just destroyed his neck or something. And the only problem with that is that it made Apollo Crews look like a chump. Because I have seen Cedric Alexander and Ricochet get full Nelson about 72 times every Raw, and then 7 days later they just turn up like, hey Bobby, let's go again. And then it happens again. So it did mean that MVP and Bob came to the ring and they were like, look, if he's not cleared, if he's not allowed to wrestle, I, MVP, am officially making myself the United States champion. And nobody questioned this, so I can only assume it was me, I did it, Wizard in the Sky. I'm very good friends with MVP. We played basketball in high school and he used to kick my ass all the time. But I never held that against him, so I decided, Hugalabiga! And I made him the United States Champion MVP, do me proud, Bobby Lashley. I'm behind you as well. Not literally. Little bit of a wizard joke there. I think we need to see what happens on Raw. Then we'll have some more context, and then we shall return to this.
Yeah, because I don't know.
And now here we are. Are you ready? Because if your rule has ever been, I will only watch wrestling as long as nobody loses an eye, well, that is now out the window. There's no going back.
He did not lose an eye. Come on now.
Standing up, that's
All right,
weird.
but tell me what happened.
Let's
Rey
go.
Mysterio this year, I'm going to take your eye.
This wasn't a cinematic encounter or anything like that. Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins was indeed fought in the ring. And when Seth Rollins was coming down to ringside, he revealed that he had brought some pliers with him. And imagine you went to any doctor's surgery to have something done to your eye, and they went, oh, here comes the pliers. You're like, you know what? I shall go to any other local medical facility. It's like going to the dentist, and they say, oh, we removed the tooth by putting some string around it and slamming the door. This ain't 1982. I don't know what happened in 1982, but it seems like something they would have done. All of this was so strange, though, because of course
that's how my
Rollins
dad
and
said they used to take
had
his
a
teeth
brilliant
out.
match. There's Seth Rollins and flipping Rey Mysterio. I mean, at one point, Rey went for like a Hurricane Rana or a head scissors, and that got reversed into a Falcon Arrow on the damn ring apron. That's the hardest part of the ring. But as soon as that was done, Seth was trying to get the pliers, and Mysterio was trying to get the pliers because they wanted to remove the other person's eye. It was so surreal. And from here as well, Seth decided to go for the jab method. He got a chair leg and tried to jab, but he missed. He got a kendo stick and he tried to jab, but he missed. I think he tried to do it with the ring post and the steel stairs, and he missed. And all this told me was that if I'm ever in a situation where Seth Rollins and I have to play pin the tail of the donkey, I ain't going to team up with him. He has no accuracy. We even have teasers here because when Ray had the kendo stick, he did get it into Seth Rollins' eye, but because the pupil didn't come out, it meant he hadn't won. And I can't believe I just had to say that sentence. He even revealed that his old injured eye was now better. And I was like, Rey Mysterio, what are you doing? If you have a covering on that eye, keep the covering on the eye. Do you not want to see Dominic get married? Do you not want to see a sunrise? You a bad father. So how did this go down, you are asking yourself? Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
As Rey Mysterio had decided that it would be the steel steps that would be a great eye remover, he was so focused on his facial things, he forgot about his testicles, and Seth Rollins whammed him right in the balls. We've all been there. We're like, oh, my eye, and you don't think about your groin. It meant that Rollins was able to curb stomp him on the floor, and then, yes, he took Rey Mysterio's head over to these damn stairs, and he pushed his face and his eye right into the corner. Now, Rey Mysterio obviously got his glove up, so you couldn't see this, but just the atmosphere and the aura, I actually felt a little bit uncomfortable. I was like,
of course, he didn't really fuck with his eye in real life, but now they have to play into the storyline. They better keep that up.
The thing. Did at one point you see the most fake eyeball you've ever seen in your life kind of sitting on Rey Mysterio's mask? Yes, you did. But also, did WWE
Alright, I said I wasn't going to pause it, but hold on, what?
This is disgusting. So right, here is the thing. Did at one point you see the most fake eyeball you've ever seen in your life kind of sitting on Rey Mysterio's mask? Yes, you did. But also, did WWE actually handle this as best as they could up to this point? I would agree with that statement. I mean, it was still stupid, but it was actually very reserved, or at least far more reserved than I assumed it was going to be. I thought we were going to see the eye come out on the floor.
A real eye,
Simon. Run in the ring and give Seth Rollins the 619. I can imagine somebody backstage in WWE saying that.
A real eye.
Everything was pulled back, and given the match beforehand, yeah, up to this point, I'd give it an up. And therefore, it is an up. It was also sold brilliantly by the commentary team who were like, Rey Mysterio is done, Rey Mysterio is over. This is the Rey Mysterio is dead party, but I'm not having a good time. But then, WWE just couldn't leave good alone. Because once again, I can imagine that somebody in the back was like, well, I tell you, if I saw an eye come out of somebody's face, I would definitely vomit and throw up everywhere. So then we had to cut to Seth Rollins, who was vomiting and throwing up anywhere. Even though Dominic, who had come back to help his dad, was not doing this, and even though the referee wasn't doing this, and some other officials, nobody was throwing up, nobody in the crowd was throwing up, it was just Seth Rollins. He should have reveled in this like some kind of
he should have grabbed him and
running around in corners going, I'm the cult leader, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, should have grabbed him.
Don't mess with people's eyes. But he didn't. And really deep down, Seth Rollins is such a baby. Terrified of the Fiend, can't handle someone's eye rolling out. Get her down. This was made worse, but also better by what happened straight afterwards. We cut to Kayla Braxton in the back, and she was feeling a little bit squeamish. She was fine. But then we saw Bayley. And did Bayley throw up? No, she didn't. What Bayley did was she pretended like she was really upset about this, and then actually laughed at Rey Mysterio for losing an eye. Why wasn't that given to Seth Rollins?
That's what I'm saying. Seth Rollins should have been evil with it.
And as for Seth, he couldn't even handle the ending to his own match. Anyway, Bales was here to big up Sasha Banks But obviously, she's still got to have a match with Asuka. If you are trying to keep track of everything, yes. There's one up for Seth and Ray, and also one down. Sometimes that just happens. This, of course, then led into Sasha Banks versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship, and it was yet another roller coaster. So let's go again. Round 2. Why? Because once again, this was really good. Come up with 2 better wrestlers than Sasha Banks and Asuka.
Crip gang.
Such good in-ring chemistry. And I know sometimes there was some miscommunication. I can't give
fucking beast though,
they're
bro.
human beings. They're allowed to make mistakes. There was this amazing German suplex attempt off the top rope that Sasha Banks was kind of meant to roll out on, but at first I thought she was dead. And then this other crazy code breaker thing where it looked like Sasha Banks' jaw was about to explode. But really, we've got to talk about the ending, and therefore we'll talk about the ending.
It better not be a surprise
basically,
roll-up,
after
nigga.
Bayley had got sick of this and got in the ring, or at least tried to distract the referee, Sasha Banks was able to get her hands on one of the tag team titles. She was going to smash that into Asuka's head, but the referee was then back involved. He was like, don't do that. That's not allowed, and he took it off her. Asuka at this point then decided, well, I'm going to spit mist in your face, but she missed Banks and hit the referee, and then he was all like, oh no, he was basically out of it. Asuka then tried to follow all of this up with the Asuka lock, and I'm not making any of this up.
Okay.
Bayley got in the ring and realized the referee was out of it. She hit Asuka with the championship. She then stripped the referee down, put his top on, and as Sasha Banks made the pin, went 1, 2, 3, oh, I've decided that Sasha is the new champion. And then music started to play as if this was official.
Like
Thankfully, Byron Saxton on commentary was going, look, this is nonsense, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It doesn't count. So now apparently the rule in WWE is that you can just put on a referee's shirt and you have all the power.
Official ref.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go, look, boom, I'm the referee now in a obviously 100% real referee shirt
Boy.
that I didn't make this morning when I got out of bed. Didn't do that at all. And I will say this was kind of original and it was kind of creative, but you also do have to say, it's a bit stupid. Like in any other sport,
Asuka's tag team partner should have came out. She should have got crazy.
And that should happen in wrestling, but nobody came out. Nobody. Did I think it was bad? That's the main question. Did I think it was bad? And the answer is no. I thought it was dumb.
So they must have went at it last night on Raw too, though.
If anybody was going to be able to pull this off, it would have been these 4. Because of course Kairi Sane was out there as well, and she was like being Robin to Asuka's Batman, like, I'll support you, I'll support you. And I was sports entertained. And so I don't know. I really don't know. I want to give it a middle. But that's not a thing in ups and downs. It's not called ups, downs, and middles. So it gets an up, mostly because I thought the match was so good.
The ending was just stupid.
If I had a thing like that, it would be like here.
The ending is cool. That just means they're going to carry it over into Raw.
The better. Ref. 1, 2, 3. Also, at least here, nobody threw up. We then had an update on Rey Mysterio, which I did appreciate because sometimes these terrible things happen and no one actually informs you what's going on.
They act like nothing happened.
To a local medical facility and has been told as long as they can do something with nerve endings, Rey Mysterio may retain his sight. Was that basically just crapping all over the stipulation within an hour of it finishing?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And then it happened again. WWE, we need to enforce a new rule, which is that you're not allowed to do surprises and you're not allowed to do teases. Because it was Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre. And of course, the big thing was, oh my gosh, what stipulation has Dolph Ziggler got in his pocket? It better be something amazing. Otherwise, I've been sat here waiting for it for 3 weeks and I got nothing. You know what I got? No, because here were the rules. It was going to be an Extreme Rules match, but only for Dolph Ziggler. And if Drew McIntyre got counted out or if he got DQ'd, he would still lose his championship. But if you have that much power and you have that much control, why wouldn't you have gone a step further? Why wouldn't it have been Drew? Even if you leave the ring, you lose your title. Clearly there were no chains on Dolph Ziggler, but he still put chains on himself. It was just too convoluted, especially because all Ziggler had to do was like run to the backstage area. Drew would have had to have gone after him eventually, and then he could have clocked him with some weapon. McIntyre would have been knocked out, and even if he had gotten to his feet, because they had been so far away from the ring,
he wouldn't get back in time.
He wouldn't have been able to make it back in. He would have been counted out, and Dolphy Boy Blue would now be your champion. But instead, Ziggles never left the area of the ring. Like, you went outside a few times and obviously used some weapons. This was too much. You could not suspend your disbelief because it was just gaga and it was just shenanigans, which is a massive shame because the match itself was absolutely brilliant. Drew McIntyre's like the greatest WWE champion ever. We know that Dolph can bump his ass off. Yeah. But I got no choice.
They're really good wrestlers.
Thing going, well, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. I don't make sense. I'm balled down. So of course there was loads of weapon spots via Dolph and even booming Drew McIntyre right in the balls at one point, and McIntyre just had to take it. And the finish rocked as well because Drew McIntyre just kipped up and Claymore Dolph right in the face from nowhere.
You know that Claymore kick is deadly, nigga.
But really, this has also buried Dolph Ziggler forever. Even with all these things in his favour, he still couldn't win. I didn't want him to win, but just the whole thing has been dumb. The whole thing has been stupid. I've made my point, but I do want to double down on the fact that these two are brilliant professional wrestlers, and I still enjoyed this, but yeah, just nonsense. And then Braun Strowman killed a guy. There's no two ways about it. You can't argue it. He set somebody on fire, and they ran off into the night, I presume, to die. So, Braun, you can't come back to SmackDown. You can't come back to WWE. You are now a murderer, and you absolutely need to lay low. And also, yes, this meant that our main event was a swamp fight. If you want to explain in an easy sentence as well, if you imagine that the bone match between The Undertaker and the AJ Styles was an action movie, well, this was that again, but now it was a horror flick. I'm just going to put all my cards on the table. I thought it was flipping brilliant. Bray Wyatt should be in some kind of real movie.
I said facts. I mean, that's fire.
Just like transform into all these characters, and I believe every single one.
I'm glad WWE is getting hella creative with it.
So you know what? It's getting it up. He also had a bunch of nods and winks to Braun's past in the sense that at one point Alexa Bliss was in his mind or in his dreams going, "Oh, Braun, you know, you always wanted to be with me," because they were like friends and maybe even more when they were doing the mixed match challenge. Everything around this, I mean, look, it was really cheesy and it was really silly. It was a bit like watching Friday the 13th or something. But I love Friday the 13th. And I love Nightmare on Elm Street. This was like WWE's version of that, although obviously way scaled back. There was also two Brauns at one point, but one was the guy with the sheep mask, and Braun was like, "Oh no, it's my other self," and that does happen in horror movies all the time. And mostly, this was just a vehicle for Bray to be super creative. And wouldn't you know it, Bray Wyatt is super creative. We even had a fake-out ending, and do you know how much I like a fake-out ending? I mean, you don't, because I don't think we've ever talked about it before, but now you do know, I really enjoy a fake-out ending. Because it ended with, like, Braun pushing Bray Wyatt into the water and he was on a boat or something. And the WWE logo came up in the corner and it went to black. Then it came back and the Fiend came out of the water. And I think he also murdered Braun Strowman, but he's the Fiend, he's done that before. And ended with him staring at the camera just going, this was screwed up stuff.
Wait, so what happened to
Braun?
Braun?
What else WWE can do when it comes to cinematic stuff like this. But as soon as it did go off air, I looked around my room and I went, yeah, that was some dark, crazy nonsense, but I really enjoyed the ride. And it was only like 20 minutes long.
I low-key want to see it.
I'm going to watch it again. And all of this together does mean that I actually think Extreme Rules 2020 may be the most bizarre pay-per-view that we have ever seen. Because a lot of the matches were great, like the in-ring stuff. But the finishes and the stories and the twists and the turns, I don't know who came up with it, but going to assume they may have taken a lot of drugs. But look, did I enjoy myself? I did. I can't help it. And in fact, I think I enjoyed myself from a WWE point of view far more than I have done recently. And I'm always enjoying stuff because I'm a positive Pete. So overall, it's getting an up. Again.
Hey, I love this dude, Simon. Fucking hilarious. Great review. Great review, bro. I'm glad you... I love the fact that you do these reviews because it keeps me up to date. I'm glad that WWE is starting to get creative on their stuff because without the crowd and stuff, you know, it gets kind of repetitive. So since the crowd isn't there, they're doing a lot of different things to keep it extremely creative, to keep you engaged. That match sounds fire. No, I can't react to it. I will get a copyright strike at the moment it goes up. So I'm gonna have to watch it on myself. But it sounds fire. It sounded lit, man. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, man. It was a good video. I'm up to date. I know what's about to happen. Raw came on, what's today? Tuesday? So it came on last night. So I'm sure, you know what I'm saying, Sasha and Asuka still have their feud. I already know. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, man. I'm going to see y'all next time.